What's up? I'm going to make this pretty quick. Short Story Bingo, episode 5 of Our Stories. This episode features Mousley. Very talented artist. He made this bandana / handkerchief that is filled with a lot of his energy, man. He's very eclectic, and we talk a lot of things. I mean, his path growing up, why he's so competitive, and how that has fueled him, and also we've spoken to rollerblading and how, you know what? Before we get any further and I reveal anything more, episode 5, Short Story Bingo. See you guys at the end. And thank you. Peace.
Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Sometimes they're funny and sometimes they're sad. Most of the time they're funny because I hate to be sad. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. But don't take my word for it. Spare fingers. Cheers.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Short Story Bingo, special series, Our Stories, episode 5. If this is your first time, welcome. If it's not, the retention program is working. What we do on this podcast is I interview usually friends and go through our history together. And if I'm not interviewing a friend, I hope to become that at the end of the conversation. So, today is no different. I do want to say really quick, though, big ups to everyone that showed out for the last 2 with George Life and with Pat Main. Getting great feedback there. And, up is the only way to go with this. I genuinely enjoy myself with how these are, not just how they're going, but just like in the moment. And I hope that resonates, and it sounds like it has been with the feedback I've gotten. So thank fucking you, man. I appreciate that so much. Well, without further ado, we're going to get back into it real quick here. Mr. Justin Mousley, y'all. Give it up, y'all. Give it up. There's sound claps right now. Just we're going to just lean right in. When I said that I wanted to talk with you, I was like, okay, well, when's the first time that I remember meeting you? Because that's the theme, is to like, okay, well, what's our history like, you know?
Yeah.
And
I love that.
I don't recall the show, but I know that it was like with Phoenix Child and all that crew.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's where I first was like put on to you. And I'm just trying to I've been digging through the archives of my brain to like what was the actual show, what was the event, or what have you, but it's not coming up. But the point is, though, is that from there, when I first met you, it was strictly fucking humble and love from the jump, and you had no idea who the fuck I was, you know? So, and then that's continued. So through the whole fucking time that I've met you, known you, even before, like getting, like, the camera doesn't even need to be here in order for us to just chill out and vibe, you know?
Yeah. Hey, I only know so much, humbly.
Right.
You know
No, 100%. Fuck, always do, huh?
Hell yeah.
Well,
hey, I super appreciate you having me on, man. That actually the last episode, the Pat one, was quite a gem. Had quite the pieces of Salt Lake history in there. It was really fun to listen to and just check out all the different stories and shit. That was super rich in value to me. That was cool that you did that for show.
What was something that like stood out?
Just a lot of the talks about like how big like battling had been at a certain point, and noticing kind of like a reemergence of the Mike Masters is coming back, or is starting to do different things now this year I've been seeing, and being able to kind of touch base in certain ways and hear stories from kind of like before I got into the music, or some of the people that were involved in the music scene before I had gotten into it or was even aware of it, really. Yeah. Was like really valuable to me. So
hell yeah, dude. Sick. Well, I know that Pat would love to hear that. I certainly do. I've known him for a long time. Obviously, we spoke to the podcast. Go back to episode 4 right after this. Yeah. Make sure not to click through this one. But yeah, I certainly appreciate that. A lot resonates with me, of course, on that, and I hope to recreate a little bit of that for sure when chatting with you. With that said, like, what do you recall of like the first interaction that you and I had?
So yeah, I actually do remember, and I go back to this story. Actually, I tell other people that I don't necessarily know as well bits and pieces of the story of us meeting, because it ties in with a couple other stories that are really valuable to me.
Wow.
When I kind of tell people, stuff about my come up or whatever. Basically, I remember we met at Metro Music Hall.
That's it, dude.
You were hosting an event.
Okay.
You were hosting the show, and yeah, Phoenix was there. Burnell was putting on the show. I believe it was a hip hop roots show.
Okay.
And it was in 2017. It was right when I very first started getting into the scene. Shout out Burnell Washburn.
Mm-hmm.
He came through and just really put me on, gave me a bunch of opportunities to get out with my camera that year, a lot of different events where I was able to perform because of him. And that's how we met, bro, at one of those Metro Music Hall shows. How wild is that?
That is wild.
And then I always remember, because at first I just came into the scene so hot. I wanted to just come in and be on everybody's radar. I just wanted to be there already and shit. You know what I mean? So, and I didn't really know like who anybody was, and you were the host for the show, and I remember you came up to me, and it was such a valuable lesson for me as I worked through it. But you came up to me before my set and you said, "Hey, what's your name?" And I said, "I'm Mousley, blah, blah, blah." You said my name back, but then as you were walking away, like you were getting ready to announce me on the stage, I'd like grabbed your shoulder, like came up to you and was like, "It's Mousley," and like made sure like that people knew how my name was pronounced and blah, 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 because I didn't know you any different from anybody else.
Yep.
And that was actually a really valuable lesson that I've learned in other ways too in my life, that you never know necessarily exactly who you're talking to or who everybody is or what their stories are about, and how silly of me to come up to you and have to pronounce my name very specifically to you again. I had no clue you were involved with 90.9. I had no clue you were involved with like the music scene way back in the day. Like these are things that like I had to humble myself along my journey and kind of see like these different things. Same thing actually happened at another one of the jobs that I was working a few years ago, and I was like going from store to store, managing all these different locations at these food restaurants and blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I went to this new location out in South Jordan, and I was supposed to be the new manager, blah, blah, blah. So I came in with just coming in hot, blah, 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 trying to make sure I was on everybody's radar, and really didn't give this one guy the credit like he really kind of deserved. Like there was more to this guy's story than just being a worker at like a food place or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that until...
It was undercover boss, dude.
Until hella times later that this guy was actually way, way good at the accordion, and he does like beat pad stuff, and he does like his own music, and it took like several months of like us finally getting to that point for me to realize like, whoa, me and this guy have like a lot in common. I had no clue about this dude.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like we could have actually probably gotten off to a better start. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? As far as
Yeah, dude, you play the fucking accordion,
dude, and he's showing me videos and shit, and fucking yeah, we would just bond over that, and that's what I'm saying. I would have never known that had I just kept being the fucking that coming in hot way, you know. So these little stories along the way and shit too. I remember leaving a show a couple years ago and leaving the venue and just running down the street downtown right out the front doors. Just I was out of there. And as I was running down the street downtown Salt Lake, these two dudes like in suits and shit, they walked past me. They were like, and they were walking towards the venue, and they just looked at me. They said, "Hey, your set we loved your set," or blah blah blah, something like that. Turned out to be the owners of the venue and shit. Like, dude, you just never know who it is. And I'm like, oh, word, like,
yeah,
hell yeah.
But
you guys saw it? Like, that's sick.
But you didn't know.
I had no clue.
No clue.
And that's like a big thing that I try to stress to people, you know, just in general, not just with music or whatever, but you just never know who somebody is or, you know, the different types of stuff they have going in their lives until you like really give it the time and space to figure that out.
I want to tap into that a little bit because I think ignorance is bliss to some degree. And I don't because with you being humble still and being accepting of them giving you good graces and being like, good job, you know, that, because that doesn't still, you know, I don't think that fell sight like what the guys in the suits, the owners of the club, like when they said good job and good show, right. You're like, dope, cool, thank you, I appreciate that. So that energy is always there. But come to find out, you know, yeah. So I guess the point that I'm making is that it still speaks to your character, just like still being accepting of love and fucking, you know, humility and respect. But I will tie this into you making sure that I said your name right. I know that I definitely didn't take it in the wrong way. Like, unless I did I take it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I think it was just a moment in time that just happened real quick. We were all just moving so much, but I realized as kind of like I performed at shows and stuff more and blah, 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 and things kind of went along, that probably wasn't the best way to approach a host or to kind of get in people that you meet for the first time.
Yeah, you know I mean? I totally get that.
2017, I was just running amok. I was trying to be on everybody's radar. I was trying to be polarizing if I needed to be. I was trying to just be whatever, you know, and a lot's changed since then, and a lot's evolved and grown, and I think that's kind of like by design, like music does that shit. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think also to piggyback is that when you're first starting, like it's hard to not just like try to crack or just break down and open a door. So in order to do that, like you find yourself not realizing who the fuck, you know, and just like you're just like steamrolling through shit, and so I can resonate with that highly because I fucking did the same thing. Like I knew some folks like in the scene, like Chaotic, Sick Lake, SEM, so like Lamb. I knew of Pure Pressure because of Magnatown Assholes, and I 19 years old. Who else did I know when I first did my first show? Well, Chaotic, like his Verbal Assassins movement, like that, like everyone that was associated with them. So. Oh, and then I talked to George about this. Bomb City, like I've heard of them. Also, Ill Poet. I through MySpace. So I was like, man, I want to get linked up with him. He was out of Ogden one time. Shout out to David Morrison. And then that was about it. I mean, I'm sure I might be leaving some names out, but that was my first understanding of the scene. And I also wanted to make a splash, so I resonate highly. So I get it.
Hell yeah. But and you got some stories back. I was listening to the podcast either yesterday or the day before, and freaking you're talking about stories from 2009, bro. You're talking about shit like fucking, you know what I mean? Like I made my first song in 2013. And I mean, I'd always been writing like poetry and stuff ever since I was like less than 10 years old, was writing like little poems and little stories and different things. And it wasn't, and then when I turned 12, I'm 36 now.
Yeah.
But when I turned 12, I started writing my first raps, blah, 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 this and that. And then it wasn't until later on that like I had gotten into it a little bit more, came back to writing like raps and doing like music and shit. And that was around 2013 where I put out my first song. And man, to hear stories from before that, like, that's cool.
I've been doing it for quite some time out here.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I have to know where did you release your first song?
So it was on SoundCloud.
It was on SoundCloud. Okay.
Yeah.
My first song I released was on MySpace.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. My first song was
the top 5 and shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so like underneath had all my friends, but you had a playlist. Like you could put all your music on a playlist, and so
well, yeah. When
SoundCloud came out shortly after, like 2008, something like that.
Well, yeah. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
freaking, the people that I really looked up to, or that I seen were really moving when I got into this scene, back around that time was you and Keith. Burnell Washburn, I looked up to a whole bunch. DJ Juggy, and the bro Taryn. I don't know if you know Taryn, who does a bunch of experimental bass and dubstep. He does a bunch of electronic shows and different things.
I don't, but I'm gonna
Yeah,
learn up.
Smoke Signals. Shout out Smoke Signals. So yeah, when I got into it, there were a few solid energies that I really saw moving that I was super drawn to.
Yeah.
Like I said, you and Keith were a part of that. And then that bleeds over into like the EDM community and different stuff. And different sounds and things like that. That's where Taryn comes in. But all these people that I looked up to when I was getting into it, just straight grinders, just straight. I really believe that those people were the ones really getting at it,
Mm-hmm.
So
and that's dope to like be able to tap into that and be like, oh shit, like this is. I bet you probably haven't thought about that for a while. Like thought about like what got you in, or like who you remember like being in the scene and shit like that. Do you, like, I don't know, like I found myself through these podcasts being like, damn, I have done like a ton of shit, like there's been a lot of shit that I've done. But I digress. So with after that show, for me at least, it feels like there was a little bit of a time frame where there wasn't a lot of content coming from you. It doesn't feel like it was not. There just was not a lot of content from what I could see. Obviously, stuff that happens behind the scenes, fucking nobody knows until it's fucking posted. So I'm sure a lot was being created. Maybe not, but the point is, after you and I met, I've been watching your trajectory really take flight. Like I would say in the last like 3 years. What would you attribute your doubling down on your art and from when you first came in and you're like, fucking, I'm making sure this goes out, and from what I perceived, I could be wrong, to this reemergence, and also not just reemergence, but it's also like settling into the community and being a part of the community and being like, okay, that's what everyone always leads to, is that, are they consistently doing something? And now you're in that echelon of like consistently being out and doing something. So now you're in the fabric. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love that.
So
I love playing my part. My grandpa actually had a great saying. He's one of the smartest guys, one of the greatest guys I ever met in my whole life. Shout out Boyd Mousley. He said, always.
What's up, Boyd?
Yeah.
What's up, Boyd?
That's that man. He said, always show up, be nice and play your part. You know what I'm saying? Show up and play your part, man. You know what I'm saying? So being a part of the community, being a part of the fabric, like you said, like I definitely don't take that lightly. I have my hands full with all the different camera stuff that I'm doing.
Yep.
All the different photo things, video things, all the different songs that I've been putting it out, especially this year. I'm glad you brought that up. And yeah, it's really just about playing your part and freaking, a lot of it's about patience too. You know what I mean? Like patience has been a really big one along the way to kind of get where I'm at now.
Well, so let me re-ask my question then. Like, with patience being as the base, like, what would you attribute like this last 3 year from run and beyond to?
Yeah, it's always interesting, different people's perspectives are so different, you know what I mean?
Of course.
It's so interesting, and I love it so much. Well, so I'll just go like super far back to kind of like the catalyst of like the idea of like succeeding and different things for me.
Love this.
I was like way young, got way into basketball, way into competitive basketball, 3-on-3 street leagues. I would do multiple ones a year. We would a lot of times do super good. Sometimes we'd win them. Sometimes we would get beat out by just some straight giants, like me and the bros, when we were like way young, would do that a bunch. And I took that energy of just like succeeding and, church ball, blah, 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 3-on-3 ball, different leagues, junior jazz. Like I was so into that stuff. And that vibe, as I had gotten older, around the time I was 12, started writing raps and stuff, was also when I started rollerblading. So I went from like a team sport to aggressive rollerblading, which was more just like a personal self-expression type of thing. jumping off of buildings, grinding crazy handrails, doing big spins over jump boxes and contests and blah, blah, blah.
For real?
Like all these different things. Yeah, I competed in like a bunch of world championships for rollerblading, like 6 years in a row, like all this crazy stuff. I was in rollerblade videos sold all around the world. Yeah, I'd wake up to phone calls, or I'd wake up to messages from people with clothing companies. They're like, hey, I have a promo video that I'm trying to get done, but I need a big gap for it. Can you muster up a 540 for me? And I'd just be out there next week just holding on to the side of a car with my rollerblades on, going fucking 35 through a parking lot, just hitting some big gaps and shit, bro.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, bro. So
you're doing, yeah.
So I took all the basketball stuff, and then I applied it to the rollerblading stuff around the time I was 12. And then got really good at that. And like all the people I looked up to eventually as I got older and got better were the people that I ended up skating with and going on sessions with. And I'd film clips for their section. They'd film clips of me it was really surreal being in that realm of people that like I had looked up to, although locally, really, really admired and got a lot of inspiration from. Mm-hmm. So to be their friend and to kind of be along with them along the ride as we grew up was like really, really cool. So yeah, there was like shout out Cameron Card, shout out Chris, shout out Carl Hills, rest in peace. Yoy.
Rest in peace, Carl. What's up, Cameron?
Yeah. And so yeah, the rollerblade.
It's funny you bring that up. Cameron's actually no.
He walks in.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So hell yeah.
So rollerblading, continue.
Yeah, rollerblading was super crazy, man. It sounds so silly because it's like almost like nobody does it anymore. I guess quads are kind of making like an emergence coming back. You see that every now and again on Instagram Explorer or whatever. But yeah, rollerblading was like one of the funnest things for me to do. I'd travel all over the place.
I was gonna ask that, yeah.
Go and doing all these different contests and stuff. To compete in world championships, you'd have to qualify at a regional qualifier earlier that year. So there's just a ton of different places to go, different parking lots with giant ramps and courses set up in them.
Wow.
There's a extreme sports camp called Woodward.
Okay.
And Woodward's like pretty well known in the extreme sports world and in like the gymnastics world and stuff like that, and like snow sports. They actually just barely built one here, a snow sports facility in Park City. I worked as a rollerblade instructor and counselor for a couple of years out at the Woodward West in California. So I'd go out there, and it's like the mecca for like extreme sports and like training and different stuff, just giant ramps, just all sorts of different things, all crazy indoor half pipes, outdoor half pipes, cement parks, outdoor parks all over the place. Just you couldn't believe how cool it is. And yeah, people would send their kids there for summer camp and learn, they'd be rollerbladers trying to learn how to grind and do spins and stuff. And yeah, I'd be there to just be like, hell yeah, let's get it.
It was fucking weird, eh? Weird,
I was like 18, 19 years old, just living it, man. It was fun.
So those 7 years that you were in that ecosystem.
Yeah.
Fucking wow.
Yeah, it's just a real grind with the rollerblades. Yeah.
Okay, so no pun intended. Okay, so but you're mentioning this because like this is part of your work ethic and your
So yeah, it all just.
I have a ton of questions, but I want you to keep going first.
So yeah, that's it. It's an important base because it really just all of that, like it was really surreal being in, and outside of the street skating and the art of style and different things and the videos and stuff, the competitive side, doing the courses and the 60-second runs was a really big thing to me too. And it was just really surreal being on the deck some of the times, and they're just announcing your name, Justin Mousley from Salt Lake City. He's dropping in 3, 2, 1, and then you have 60 seconds to just, I'm throwing 900s in the middle of my run, just going as big as I can, skating as hard as I can. And it got to a point where the pros that I would see in the videos that had pro skates or pro boots or whatever in certain cases, I remember one year Rashard Johnson came right up to me and he reached up as I was standing on the deck getting ready to drop in. He just reached his hand up in front of everybody, just hit me with the daps. And I, like, while they're announcing me and shit, I'm like, oh, we're getting to some place here. This is wild.
This is wild.
Like the people that I just seen in the videos, like really recognizing me and shit. So I knew I was doing something with all that, right?
Yeah, dude.
So I took all that energy, and obviously you're not going to be able to compete on like a professional or whatever type of level physically for forever. And that's when I transitioned all that energy and all that proof and all that confidence into music.
At 19?
No. So that was, 2013, I'm 36 now. So
9 years ago.
9 years ago.
So 25.
So I was 25 when I
27. 27, excuse me.
Yeah, right around that time was when I really transitioned into doing the music stuff and really got back into the writing, the poetry, and doing all the things, and tried to turn the poetry into music and all these different things. It was like, but yeah, I had no doubt that with patience and showing up, playing your part, eventually, like, you'll get to that place. Like, no matter what, you just have to like it's all by design. And I have people come up and they'd be like, "Hey, you're doing good," or like, "Wow, you've really improved," or blah blah blah. Like, oh, it's all by design. Like, that's how it's all supposed to be. You're just supposed to just get right at it. So, moving on to the music thing was really nothing to me because I've already done like so much before that. Even if I wasn't very good at music at first, which, you know, I'm still on my way to even getting better at music. It's always constantly evolving and growing and turning into something more beautiful and more divine. But like, even then I was just massively confident in it eventually turning into something more like what it is now.
Right. Okay. So would you say, so, I mean, I got some questions, but I want to make sure that we hit this tail end because that was a comment, that you just, took us on a ride on.
Came in hot, bro.
Dude, I like it. Fucking pause also, but, no. So you, at the end of that there, you were talking about like being humble, staying present, and play your part. And when you got here, I told you that out of nowhere, I mean, I'm subscribed to this channel, but and off the top of my head, I'll fucking say it in the intro. But it's an incredible channel. And I encourage. I'm just going to say the name and you guys can fucking decide by yourself. But they have a ton of fucking audiobooks for free on YouTube. But it's called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And it's by Florence something. But there's a lot of, karmic lessons that are taught. And like to be just genuinely in the moment. And reap what you sow is like the underlying message or intent, Yeah. And so with you having that approach of like being part of a team or being part of like, what can I do to be of value, and also like being humble, and also like I can already feel it from you, and every single time I fucking see you, it's like you're just like this sponge for the moment and taking it all in.
Appreciate you, brother.
You know what I'm saying? And not being swayed by and this is hard to do because it's a daily fucking thing to do, but not doing your best not to be swayed by outside forces. Because you're on your own path, you're on your own journey, and this is what, as you said, by design, this is what's going on. And so I appreciate that a lot, how you broke that down from playing basketball, that same drive and effort and competitiveness, into rollerblading, and doing that for 13, 14 years, 15 years roughly, and then and that's a long time to be fucking doing something, no matter what, whether it's an act, a relationship.
It's so much fun, man.
No, of course. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that like in that book too that I'm talking about, they talk about like the most successful people are doing things that they love to do. Like that's not to say like if you find like a CPG product and you're like people are just buying up fucking supplements right now, so we're just going to start selling supplements, hey, peace to you too, motherfucker. So like that you just made money on that. But there are the most successful businesses, like people that really take fucking pride in what they're doing and really love what they're doing. So you saying that it's because I loved it. I mean, obviously you would have fucking succeeded at it and at the high level that you did. You dapping up was Justin Johnson. Is that what his name? Rashard Johnson. Excuse me. Okay.
Yeah, one of the goats.
What up, Rashard?
Yeah.
But that moment would not have happened had it had the work that you did didn't get to that point. So going into music, and your involvement of it, when did videography become a real like path for you? Was it? Yeah, just what was it? But yeah.
So yeah, the camera stuff, actually, that's a great question, man. I appreciate you asking that, because I love going back and kind of tracing the crucible of it all, where the camera stuff came from. And it was actually the only reason I graduated high school, surprisingly, was camera work. This class in high school called tech class. I think my senior year I had like 5 of my 7 classes were involving the tech class or around that place. And it was just learning how to edit videos. They had cameras you could check out. We were making skate videos all the time. I remember one of the years, I think it was between my sophomore and junior year, they had said, the teacher, Mr. Nias, like, really shout out Mr. Nias. One of the
What up, Mr. Nice?
One of the only teachers I'll remember for sure. I remember he said, yeah, we have this like budget where we want to get new computers for the class. We also want to get like one main computer that's like really good for video editing. We also want to buy a video camera. We have X amount of dollars. What should we get? So me and my buddies literally just, and it was so weird it happened like this, but yeah, we're just like buying nice cameras and bought all these. It was when
on your own dime.
On the school's dime.
The school's dime. Excuse me, because you said, okay, continue.
My bad.
No, I just, go ahead.
So I'm like 16, 17 years old. We're looking at these sick cameras to buy. We bought the whole tech class, got computers replaced with like 30 of those. It was when Mac had those computers that had kind of like the plastic see-through backs that were like the different neon colors, like the green or the orange or the
iMac.
The iMacs, yeah, or whatever, that just sat there.
Yeah,
right?
the egg.
Yeah, those ones. Yeah. So we got the whole class new ones of those. So when people came in that year, they were editing on those.
What the fuck?
We had a whole new tower that was just like the beefy station where we made our skate videos and stuff. We bought this like way expensive zoom camera that was like really nice at the time. And it was all for the tech class. And that Mr. Nias guy really, honestly, like helped me graduate and get through school because of a lot of those opportunities when we'd go to like road trips to like St. George or to California. We took the camera with us. I remember one summer we just had the camera the whole summer. You know,
we just fucking had it.
We just had it the whole time, bro. And
you keep bringing Mr. Nyes up, and he definitely wants to say fucking thank you. He's actually hearing it. But continue. Keep going.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it was basically just like me and the skateboard and rollerblade buddies making skate videos
in high school. Where'd you go to high school?
Riverton High School.
What up, Riverton?
Yeah.
Class of 04?
Class of 04.
Class of 04?
First sophomore graduating class, right when they had built that school. I would have been a B. If it was a year later, I would have been a minor, minor. So got to check that school out right when it was built. That's kind of a trip.
That is a trip.
Yeah.
Okay, so just run back into it. You're in high school, so that's where the video stuff started.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And for rollerblading, for just skate videos that we were making and putting on VHS tape and shit.
But was it on? Excuse me, on VHS?
Yeah, I still got some old VHS tapes.
No, you fucking don't, dude.
Oh, yeah.
What were you guys cutting on? Like, what was the editing program?
At the time we were just doing Final Cut. Yep, and then at home I had a desktop that I would use Premiere on, but I liked Final Cut a lot more.
It's pretty easy. That magnetic fucking tile is beautiful.
So Final Cut was the vibes, and shoot, that's how I made it out that one.
George Life got me into fucking Final Cut. When I was doing my first podcast. Okay, or not this podcast, but when I started over there. Anyway, so that's how you started in videography, and it was like full blown. It was like all the time, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah.
It was all the fucking time.
I mean, we were skating all the time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But were you geeked on it? Was it like something like outside of fucking... Yeah, were you geeked on the video part of it, or did it seem... Was there friction there with learning it? Or were you like, dude, I just want to fucking know how to do this?
I think I remember telling people that I was like making skate videos before I was even making skate videos. I just knew it was going to happen.
Let's go!
I'm pretty sure I was just saying, and I didn't even know how to sit down at the computer and work the program. You know what I mean? Like, I just knew it was all going to figure itself out.
Dude, it goes back to this fucking book I'm talking about. Because they're talking about, like, if you want to be wealthy, fucking be wealthy. Like, in your head, like, you act like you've been there before. Like where that saying comes from, like as this book was coming through, it's a 2.5 hour read, bro. You gotta fucking read this book or even listen to it. But so you were telling folks, yeah, I fucking make fucking skate videos. Where are they at? I'm fucking still working on them, and but we're making them. We're making them. Yeah. That's sick. I fucking love that.
I felt the title. I knew I was gonna be it one day.
Yeah, no, I love that.
And yeah, and freaking dude, the art and just being able to see, like, it was kind of cool, the rollerblade scene, that when I got into it, the people I looked up to, like, they were super involved in the video side. They were super involved in the next cool trick or whatever. Those were all things I was way interested in. I wanted to know how to do it. I wanted to be like those guys. I was young and impressionable, you know. I wanted to be like the local legends and the fucking guys that were doing all the crazy stuff at the contests and shit. And they had all the cameras too. And they had video premieres at Open Theater all the time at the University of Utah. We'd get all the crew together. It'd be like 100+ people just watching the new release or whatever. Like, and I wanted that. I wanted a piece of that.
Right. Yeah. So you're like, yo, that's gonna be fucking me, dude.
Yeah.
That's what you felt though, right?
Well, I just had such good people to look up to and still do, man. Such good examples and just such good mentors and energy and shit that, like, you know, we always would like to think we did a lot of this stuff on our own, but, you know, a lot of times we have to recognize that a lot of people helped us get here too, you know, through inspiration and shit.
Yeah, for sure,
you know
dog. Nothing's new under the sun, bro. And to be able to tap into that in your head and just be like, yo, man, I'm just grateful for the opportunities that were given to me along the way, and I'm still learning, and there's a lot of energy that I'm still vibing off of, and that I don't understand, and that I'm willing to accept, and how much this person inspires me to do this thing, or this person inspires me to do this thing. I'm finding myself becoming inspired by myself by doing this thing, but always saying yes more than you're saying no is going to be much more fruitful for your development and growth. Oh yeah. And it's been taught fucking ages and ages. So we're not talking anything or saying anything new. It's just reinforcing certain techniques and strategies that people have utilized in order to succeed. To hear that, like, subconsciously you've been telling yourself just these types of things is very inspiring, even for me. Like, that's why I feel that when we connect, like, our energies definitely are aligned. There's already, dude, and I mean that for real, you know, because I think Likewise. I don't feel that there's friction, you know, that there's a dam at all. There's not. It's always flowing. And that's to speak to, like, people that if you have, like, dams in your life, in your head, you're creating them, and allow the water to flow through. Sometimes you gotta just let that shit run, man, in order to let folks know what the fuck you're doing, and that's how, you know, progress is continuous to be built. If people didn't know, sorry, I was just checking on the fucking thing. If people didn't recognize what what they were fucking going through, then they allow that to consume them. So, going into music then. Okay. So videography though. So you've been doing this.
Oh yeah.
Did you stop after high school?
Not really so much. Because I was still skating and competing and stuff out of high school for a while. Yeah. So yeah, we were still doing the camera stuff. Like, you can still see a bunch of the videos I put together. Like, I mean, shoot, I'll still put out a little skate clip or something every now and again. You know, I got a couple sessions every year left in me, even though these old bones might feel a little different. Yeah. But yeah, I have a bunch of different stuff on YouTube. You can check out old skate videos and stuff from, like, 10
what are they
years
under?
Ago up and just on my Justin Mousley page.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just got a bunch of like music videos and stuff on there now. But if you scroll down more, there's just like a bunch of little blade edits and stuff and different fun things, little journeys.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, bro.
That's great.
But yeah, freaking I really got into like the digital, like really into like the visual side, whether it's video or photo. And I wrapped all that up really well this last month with these songs that I released. I had this idea because I'd been sitting on songs for a while and basically performing them at shows. And I hadn't been releasing them. I was trying to more so just the idea, if you wanted to see what I'd been up to, you're going to have to come to the event and check out what was going on. So I had all these songs I was performing at events, but I hadn't released or anything until just this last month. And and I did that for a couple of years. And then November came around and I had told myself, of all the songs, let's pick 4 of them. So I picked my 4 favorite ones. And I said, I'm going to release a song every week for the month of November. And then along with that, I'm going to have like little promo content, little video pieces, photos, blah, 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 that go along with it. And then just, try to get a little bit more traction with the songs that way, digitally, like social media wise. And another part of it was, instead of just releasing 4 songs, which is like cool or whatever, but I wanted to take it to that next place too. So I linked up with a local photographer who does portrait photography. He also shoots on film a bunch and different things like that. Carlos Guzman, one of the Rollerblade buddies. I think he like wrote for Slug Magazine for a while or did articles or something. I'm not sure exactly.
Get out of here. That's his name, Carlos Guzman?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I knew him from the rollerblade community, and then he got into like camera stuff, and he's been doing that a whole bunch. So I actually commissioned him.
What up, Carlos?
Yeah, Los dog. Thank you so much for those photos. That was quite a adventure, my man. So the idea was to have a photo series that went along, a portrait photo series specifically that went along with each song. So as the song released, and the artwork was taken by Carlos.
Yeah.
And it's quite a funny idea because it was just, each photo was just a portion of my face. So one artwork was just this side of my face wearing one hat. One artwork was just this side of my face doing kind of a different look, wearing a different hat. One was like from my nose down with like my hair down. And it was like really kind of like funny trying to like explain to the camera guy, like, no, like, get like super close, just like this part of my, just like this part. The other one was just like my eyes and my hair pulled up and shit. And they all kind of had this theme to them and kind of looked the same.
Yeah.
So those were the artworks for each of the songs that I released along the way. So it was like not just music, it was art as well,
And so when they were all done, they were...
And people have asked me that before, but no, I don't think you could put all the photos together.
Oh, okay.
It would look kind of wild, I would imagine. But
dude, that is a sick idea.
That would be sick. And then actually, I had heard a story too when I was like
that is a sick fucking idea.
Creating this concept of like these photos that go along with these songs or whatever, but it's like all tied together. Like I wanted to make sure it was the same photographer, blah blah blah. Like I wanted to kind of have the same background, and the text wanted to kind of be the same. So it all kind of went together, and it was really digestible for people when it came out. I just lost my train of thought, bro. My bad.
That's all good.
I'll get it back.
No. So
I might not get it back.
Yeah, I might not. I'll be honest with you. I might not get it back.
Oh yeah, because it wasn't my story. It was just something they told me. So there's like bands that basically write whole, like there's a band apparently that released an album. They wrote a whole novel that goes along with the album. It's like a metal band or something like that. And then in the song with the music, every time you hear like the certain chime in the song is when you turn the page of the book.
Wow.
Right? So I thought I was onto some like real slick shit with this fucking...
Wait, run that back again? Wait, hold on. Run that back. So
you're listening to the album.
Okay.
And then every time... And you're reading this book that goes along with it.
So you get a book.
And the book.
Okay, all right.
From the band or whatever. And every time in the song you hear the chime is when you turn the page and you continue reading and going along with.
Oh, but it's just the lyrics.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not even sure.
I don't even know.
See, that's what I'm saying. I only know so much.
Yeah.
Humbly, bro. I only know so much.
Okay.
But yeah.
So you thought you were slick.
So I thought I was doing something really, really cool. Come to find out, yeah, people are just taking it to a whole different level. And that's what's so brilliant and wonderful and inspiring about freaking art, bro, is that, like, you know, although what I did was really cool and I thought was pretty dope.
Yeah, it was.
And went through with it all, there's people out there taking it to an even crazier place, and how motivating and inspiring that is.
The world's full of abundance. Who knows if that's even going to another crazier place? That's just the place that they went to. Who's to not say that you have other? You're gonna have other things. The world's in abundance, bro.
Yeah, bro.
So it doesn't.
I love that.
So like what you did was equally amazing.
Yeah.
So I won't let you fucking do that, too. Dude. I won't let you do that because that is a sick idea. I'll tell you what,
it was
dude.
fun.
Hey, I'm fucking telling you right now. All right, and you're hearing it here on fucking episode 5 of fucking Justin Mousley. All right, if you guys see next year that I have a 4-track EP comes out, and each single that I release is 4 puzzle pieces, and when the fucking EP releases, all those puzzle pieces are coming together. It's because of this fucking podcast. Clip it, and that's fucking what it is. Clip it in the back, Mike. Run it. No, that's wild. So I mean it ties right into everything that we're talking about with how much energy you have towards what you're doing, like whatever it is you're involved in, whether it's fucking basketball, which I'm going to talk to you about here in just a second, rollerblading, or music. Like there's just an energy to constantly want to evolve, and just like putting all of your energy into it.
Oh, yeah.
And videography for that matter. Do you find yourself like when you're editing, do you want to do better every video?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Of course you do.
I like to really, you know, I really like getting a good exposure on from the camera. Not a ton of post stuff. I like when I put it into the computer for it to already look pretty dang good.
Yep.
So I'm looking for the exposure when I'm shooting some of these videos. I really enjoy composition and the way that you frame things and the lines and how linear a lot of shots can be from certain angles, certain things. So composition and exposure are really the things that I enjoy the most about videos and stuff. I like to get that really rich. I'm not putting a ton of different effects in my music videos. I'm not doing a ton of different crazy transitions. But I think where I might lack in that, I make up for with just these really crazy cool shots, which I hope in the future just continues to get better. I mean, I feel like that's kind of like how it works.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, there's some people that are just are okay with like a system or a template of what they're doing. I mean, I know people for sure that are like, yeah, I've been doing the same thing like this for like 10 years. And you're like, cool, man. But also, I just don't know that that's sustainable for scalability.
Right.
You know, like,
oh, yeah. I'm always trying to level up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There are folks, dude, you know, I'm sure you got folks in your fucking peer circle that aren't looking to level up all the fucking time, bro.
Shit, I mean, I got into performing in 2017, and there's a lot of people that I started performing with. I don't even know where they're at anymore, bro.
100%. Yeah.
Who knows? So everybody's story is different.
Everyone's story is different. Longevity is what it speaks to, and that goes back to the beginning of the conversation when you were like, dude, you were telling stories from 2009. Yeah, dude, I'm still fucking out here, you know?
Yeah, I'm grateful, man. Grateful to be a part of fucking sitting here with you and chopping it up, man. It means a lot. It's a trip.
Dude, it's a trip. He's like, it's fucking I think there's something for me that I take from just, I mean, we've been 50 minutes or a little over that, learning about your tenacity and willingness to continue to learn and like competitiveness. It speaks a lot more to like my vision, my perception, because you talked about that too. Everyone's perception is different, but like to know that now how competitive of arena, literally and figuratively, that you were in for 10 plus years, almost 15 years. Hey man, that really is that drives people to be able to continue to compete against others, you know, and especially in music, in hip hop in particular, but with yourself, there has to be that competitive spirit to do better for your next song and do better for your next interaction or like your next performance, and to not get stagnant and stale. Like there's comedians and even like local performers that are comfortable with staying in their own city, and that's fine, all good. Again, that speaks to the template that I'm talking about, that folks it's just like, okay, cool, this is where I'm at and it's been going pretty good, so I'm not going to shake the boat and start a new journey, you know. And it sounds like that's not something that you're afraid of, you know, and rather embrace it. I wish I fucking knew this. I just heard this book, man, and it fucking has been so enlightening. But they're talking about fearlessness and like the fact that there is no, I'm butchering it, but to paraphrase, like there is no fearlessness or there is no fear. You shouldn't have fear, because fear isn't real. Like it's not like there's no reason to fear things. Like the story that was talked about was this lady that had a fear of like walking under ladders, and the therapist told her, well, just walk under it. Just, it's not real. So it doesn't, like that fear that you have of it isn't real. And there's so much more to go into that, but she went under it, and as she was doing it, like in conquering that fear, was able to access a new point in her life, you know, to be able to go through things. So conquering fear, I guess what I'm talking about, is super crucial.
Yeah, I can relate. I remember a story very vividly from back in the day. I was about 12. I had a yellow notebook that I wrote my raps and stuff in, one of the longer ones. It wasn't like one of the regular white notebooks. It was just like one of the longer ones.
Like one of those joints over there? Like the long note, it's in the, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I see it.
The steno pad, the longer one.
Yeah, for sure. So I remember pulling up, and we were like skating this skate box. It was like me and a couple of the rollerblade bros, and we were just skating this box one afternoon.
What up, rollerblade bros?
Yeah, rollerblade life going.
You hit this box, or you hit this box?
We were skating this skate box, skating this ledge in my buddy's driveway, and I pulled out my raps, and I was like, showing him like my raps, showing my buddies like it was the first time I'd ever shown anybody like this was the thing I was doing. And one of my buddies just turned to me and straight up said, and I'm still friends with him to this day, but bless his heart, we were so young and I was so impressionable, it really affected me a lot. He's just like, you will never be a rapper. You will never have, like, think about it, be real with yourself, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't write raps and stuff after that for like quite some time. And it was this thing that I did believe, being young and impressionable, and hearing that and hearing it from somebody who was like my peer and shit. And I did go several years. I mean, end of junior high school, still had the poetry book, was still writing poetry, but the idea of like doing raps and like turning it into music was quickly shut down.
Be impeccable with your word. You never know. That goes with the 4 agreements right here.
Yeah, I still see the bro around and stuff.
Sure.
And he went on and actually ended up having like a really sick music career as like an EDM producer and like all these different things. And I'll see him at the events. I saw him at the Charlie Tuna show this last time around, and fucking gave him a big hug in the crowd, told him I love him and shit. Like, there's no ill will, but that is like a story that will like stand out for forever. Just remembering like how powerful that was at that time of my life, hearing him be like, nah, not you. Definitely not you. And
wow.
I'm like, uh-oh. Anyways.
Well, no, I want to sit in it. It's okay because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, and it's good to sit in it because that's wild.
Yeah, and I had another one that had happened for my 26th birthday, or maybe it was my 28th birthday. And
they start running together.
I was down in St. George, and I was living down there, and then another one of my rollerblade buddies, and I didn't have a car, so it was hard for me to get around the town.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I'd have the rollerblade buddies give me a ride to a place, blah, 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 this and that. Well, for my birthday, I really just wanted to give myself like a really sick gift that wasn't like material, wasn't like anything that I would just, I got a lot of different stuff. I don't really need a ton of different material things. What would be like a good gift for my birthday to give to myself? And that was when I said, well, why don't I go to an open mic on my birthday and do like a acapella rap thing. And I had this thing like figured out. Yeah. So I went to this place called Jazzy's Coffee Shop or whatever, Jazzy's Java, kind of by the Boulevard in St. George.
What up, Jazzy's Java in St. George?
That's where it all began.
All right.
I brought my GoPro with me. I had my buddy drop me off, and I said my gift this year to myself is this music journey that I'm going to get on, and this thing that I'm going to really run out with performing and everything. And I was so nervous.
Oh my God, I bet.
And had my buddy.
This is your first time performing?
First time ever being on a stage performing, yeah. And I was just going to do an
You hadn't even done karaoke or anything?
Nah. I just went
cool. Okay, so we're going to Jazzy fucking job.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then my buddy, he just said, like, on the way in, and he was such a nice guy to give me a ride there, but he just, like, was super talking me out of it. He's just like, be realistic. You're going to do music, and you're going to, like, honestly, I need you to, like, I don't mind giving you a ride to the spot and dropping you off. You're my buddy, but, like, really, like, it's probably not going to work out good for you is what he was trying to say. And, so I've had a few things like that happen.
Well, how would that affect you?
And that one I wasn't even fazed by because I was old enough to know, and it was just a thing I just really wanted to do super bad. Big part of just like
was it a bummer to hear him say that?
It's just kind of weird, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a bummer to be like, damn, dog, for real? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, I guess there was probably a moment where I was kind of bummed out by it, but he was giving me a ride there. He was still he was still supporting me on fucking the whole thing. And
Got
it.
Like, okay.
So it was really kind of like more just weird than it was like a bummer.
I got you.
Know what I mean? Like,
okay, that makes more sense.
He's like, all right, do whatever you want to do. And I just closed the door and started performing music and getting up on the stage right then. So, and that was a birthday present I gave to myself. I thought that was a cool one.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's the 26th or 28th birthday. We're not sure.
Yeah.
But that birthday present was your first time on stage, and you did one song, or?
And I did one acapella rap, and it was really weird because I knew what I was going to do beforehand, but when I showed up, it was actually not poetry night. They had 2 open mics that they would do during the week. They would have the band night, where bands would come through and jam, and then they would have the poetry night where people would come and more do like spoken word or whatever. And so when I showed up, I didn't know that there were 2 different nights, and I showed up on the band night and trying to do this a cappella poetry rap thing or whatever, right? And I just it was slowly crumbling. It was slowly falling apart, but I ended up finding the paper, put my name on it, got up on the stage, had my GoPro recording. I still have a video. It's in one of those rollerblade edits on my YouTube page, just like in there real quick. It just shows me with a blue shirt, blue V-neck, fucking up on this dark ass stage. But
I love that.
Yeah, bro. And then like a bunch of bands went on after me, so it was really unorthodox, but I was like determined to do it, so I just went up there and did it. And then afterwards it was just like super quiet, and then the announcer guy from the back was like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was so embarrassing. He was like, well, that was something.
Oh my God. He hit
like
you with the he just the fucking the DJ scratch. That was fucking.
Yeah, well.
Justin Mousley, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Mousley. Next up, though, we got fucking.
Yeah, real shit. It was wild. But you know what?
But you pushed through that, too. You're like, fuck it, dude. Okay, well.
All the stuff that I, wanted to do, I did. That was.
Yeah, see, dude, that's what happens. Fuck it. Like, the reason why I brought up, like, if you had even done karaoke, because, like, when I first started rapping, and then my first show was Halloween of October 31st at the filling station in Magna. On what year was it? 16 years ago. 2006. So October 31st, 2006 was my first show. Yeah. And it was amazing. It fucking went incredible. It was so sick. Had had so many people come out, because from 19 up to 21, I was promoting the shit out of my music, and like I just couldn't wait to perform in a bar. But in lieu of doing that shit, I was doing karaoke stuff. And then after I turned 21, I would go out to do karaoke nights as often as I could, because it was practice to me. Yeah, so like just getting in front of people, and I've won competitions and shit. Yeah, because my go-to is like, well, it doesn't matter. Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang is my go-to. Like when I go and do karaoke, but it was a big help for me to have stage awareness, stage presence, and being able to project on a mic correctly, and know. It just was incredibly. It still is. I fucking love going to karaoke. Just to do karaoke. I don't do it as much as I used to, but
yeah, I got some people close to me that love karaoke, that just stand by it big time, and they're like pretty good at it. So,
I think as a performer, it's an invaluable time. I mean, it's also free practice. Yeah, it's just way free. Like you just go in there and just do it. So that's why I asked, like nothing. Like you hadn't ever been on stage like that at all, but you had been on big stages with rollerblading.
Yeah.
So it's just a different stage and a different microphone per se, literally. But like those big stages, rollerblading, that had to be fucking equally wild, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like just a lot of like before, like holy fuck, like here we go. Like
I mean, yeah, sometimes there'd be a lot of people at some of those events, and at some of those rollerblade ones, especially world championships, you'd get the top 10 best skaters from every regional contest from all around the world. So it'd be like 200, 250 of the best rollerbladers around the entire world, all in one place, competing against each other. That's just the skaters. They bring their family with them. They bring their fucking friends, their crew with them and shit. Sometimes, some years, you'd have fatty crowds.
Yeah.
Good looks.
You know, good looks is what we call them.
Yeah, big fucking claps and shit. Fucking
I love
throw
that.
something down.
So but the point is that you've seen big stages through that juncture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I build stages and do stuff nowadays. For a lot of the money that I make, I take out the jazz basketball court, put the jazz basketball court back in. I'm a stagehand where I'll build stages for like Post Malone, for fucking Lizzo when she just came. We did the Piano Man who's performing tonight. We did that last night. Took the jazz court up piece by piece, and then built like a standard size stage. And I've been to some pretty wild festivals where I've been on the stage and just closed my eyes and imagined, or just looked out into the crowd and just pictured myself in my new song that I wrote. And I'm just putting it out to them and picturing myself with my feet right there in front of that big crowd. And I think there's just it's giving me little goosies.
Dude, I was gonna say, dude, that really just moved me, man. That was inspiring. We're gonna fucking wrap it on that, dude.
Hell yeah.
I love that. Envision yourself in front of that crowd, wherever crowd that is for you. Know that you're gonna get there, and
be open to all the blessings from the universe.
All of them, dude. All of them. Where can people find you, dog?
Yo, check me out on Instagram, _Mousley_. You can also stream me on all of the major streaming platforms. Also, check out the music videos and video content that I've been putting on my YouTube page, Justin Mousley.
It's been a pleasure, bro.
Likewise.
Seriously, dog. Like that. What a story. We didn't even touch into the basketball piece. That just means we have something else to tap into.
We can do it again.
We will do it again. This is part 1 now. You guys see it. We're gonna do part 2 when I start doing those puzzle pieces. You'll see.
Hell yeah. Thanks for having me on. That
dude,
felt like it flew by.
When before you leave, I do want to gift you something. I know you said you had something, but here's a Mike Masters shirt with the involvement.
Oh my God! Thanks, bro.
You're very welcome.
Hell yeah.
That's from Farrell's. Yeah, Farrell's Creative. Just put that. Well, he put it together for us, and
Make sure you check out their next event. What up?
Yeah, February 19th over at Metro Music Hall. No Love Lost is what it's called. It's also my EP release party, and then we're gonna have 2 battles and 4 performances. Might have more performances. I've been getting a lot of feedback from folks, so we might have some more. But that's what it is right now. But I'm very happy to give you that.
Yeah,
so.
dude, I love it, man. Definitely gonna rock it. I'll fucking Put it on my story and shit too. It'll be fun.
Okay.
So yeah, I make these tie-dye bandanas. These are actually reverse dyes. I throw these out at my shows during my performances as a way to give back. It's also super interesting how healing that is to be selfless and give to others. So I made these with a lot of good energy. And you're more than welcome to grab one. Yeah, looking like that jazz one. But yeah, so if you're ever around and you want to check out one of the shows, chances are you're going to get an opportunity to get one of these exclusive drippers. What up?
Let's go. I'll use this shit at the fucking battle.
Hell yeah.
That's what's up.
Well, that's a gift
Like
for me to you.
For like,
yeah.
Because like each battler will have like a towel over their fucking shit and just like, because it does get hot up there, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And also,
I've seen people hang them on their walls or in their rear view mirror, wear them on their head, fucking whatever, bro.
yeah, it'll get put to good use. It'll be good. Yeah, it'll be good. Thank you so much, Doc. I really do appreciate it.
No doubt.
And your energy is fucking one that it's just very fucking. What's the word I'm looking for? Infectious. Like I really, really vibe off it very well. So.
Interesting how it works because you inspire me, bro. Appreciate it.
Fucking A, man. Short Story Bingo, episode 5. Our stories with Nate Chacon III. Thank you guys so much. And we out.
Dun, dun, dun. Spare fingers. Cheers.